Hello everyone and welcome back to Tournament Arc, an Oregon State University anime show. I'm your host Maya Barnaby and I'm so excited to be with you again for this season. In today's episode we'll be talking about an anime that is quite popular at the moment, Cowboy Bebop. Our story starts when our hero Spike Spiegel and the crew of his spaceship Bebop, an intrepid band of bounty hunters, land on Mars in the year 2071 chasing an enormous cash reward. The four-person team, also including looming cyborg Jet Black, fearless Faye Valentine, and tech expert Edward, are in search of ex-military officer Vincent. The former hero has become a biological terrorist with an arsenal of devastating nanobots that he'll let loose on Alba City on the night before Halloween if his demands aren't met. But before we dive too deep into the show, I would like to introduce today's guest, Rob Jones!
Yo! Woo!
Welcome back!
Thank you, it's good to be back.
Is it?
Well,
Is it good to be back, considering last time you were here, we were in a court of law?
Yes, but you see, this time I didn't bring Sam, so it's already an improvement.
So everything's fine.
Yeah.
As long as Sam's not here, everything is under control.
It's true. We are starting good.
Yeah.
We don't have someone who only wants to talk about My Hero Academia.
For once. For once. Also, we don't have to file as much paperwork, which is also Sam's fault.
It's true. That was all Sam's fault.
I don't know why it is, but it is Sam's fault.
No, Sam is the one who if memory serves, in between everyone hamming it up like we were a side of bacon.
Exactly.
If memory serves, the plot was that Sam had revealed my plans to Will.
Exactly. Jerk.
Which was, yeah, jerk.
What a jerk. All right, so you...
That's the real reason the Challenger got canceled.
Exactly. Oh, Sam, you done messed up. You done messed up. Anyways,
yes.
Back to what we're really here for. As much fun as it is roasting Sam, we could do a whole 30-minute episode just on that. Tune in next week.
We might.
we just might. So how much of Cowboy Bebop have you watched?
So I've seen about half of the actual show and a little bit of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a whole lot because my friend Quentin was showing me some clips from the movie to make a point one time.
Oh.
I don't remember what the point was, but it was
but
it was good animation.
You remembered the movie.
I do remember.
So there's quite a bit to unpack in this show.
Oh yeah.
If that is the understatement of the year. This show has been described, and I'm going to quote, as a, quote, space opera meets noir, meets comedy, meets cyberpunk. And it has also been described as Western meets Pulp Fiction.
Yep.
Agree or disagree? Would you like to elaborate on why people might say that?
Definitely agree, because it has a lot of elements of sort of traditional sort of Western bounty hunter type shows and stories, and basically, make it an anime, set it in space, and you've got Cowboy Bebop.
You got Cowboy Bebop.
Make Western shows and anime, and don't set it in space, and I think that's what Trigun is. So.
All right, well...
I've never seen Trigun, so that might be wildly off base.
You could fool me. I don't think I've actually heard of that show. But back to Cowboy Bebop, our main character, Spike. How would you describe him, per se?
He's got this very sort of classic, sort of roguishly handsome, sort of cocky, bounty hunter. So he's got some Han Solo in him.
Ooh, Han Solo.
He's got a little sort of classic Clint Eastwood characters. Like I think his character in like Good, Bad, and the Ugly is just called The Man with No Name, if I remember right. Yeah, so he's got a little bit of that going for him.
He's a rugged man.
He is, and
bad boy complex.
Major bad boy complex.
Major bad boy. So he's a real lady killer.
Oh yeah.
Is what you're saying.
Oh yeah.
Like both literally and figuratively, or just one or the other?
He's a bounty hunter. He doesn't kill, because if he kills, he doesn't usually get paid.
Oh well, it happens to the best of us.
Mistakes.
When you're out bounty hunting and you're like, oh man, accidentally killed that guy.
When I'm out on the trail after a fresh bounty, mistakes happen.
As you do on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday, my finger slipped and
The sun was
somehow
shining,
lost.
the summer air was coming in, you just get a little distracted.
You just get a little distracted, and all of a sudden your bounty's dead and you're not getting paid.
Yeah.
This is just
what is to be done?
And that's how Mafia works.
And that's life. Life finds a way. Okay, we're gonna switch
And now that
topics.
we've made about 17 different references, I think.
Yeah. So the next question I have is, I want to get into a little more nitty-gritty kind of questions because we take things very seriously here.
Oh yeah, we
on
do.
Tournament Arc. So this show.
You can tell by the Jurassic Park
You
reference
can
we just
tell.
made.
You can tell. So this show, in some episodes, takes place on Mars, correct?
Yes, this is true.
And people here on Earth, in real life, have been talking about making Mars inhabitable at some point. Do you see in whether or not it's the foreseeable future or farther forward, do you see that happening at any point?
I mean, I think it is an inevitability that we'll hit that point. When is a major question. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon because like the show takes place in like 2070.
Yeah, 2071.
By then I would expect we're at more of where like the movie The Martian is.
Right.
Where we're just
There's just one guy trying to grow some potatoes.
where we're sending missions to Mars and we consistently have some scientists on Mars studying it, but we don't have like full colonization.
Well, how quickly do you think we can shoot Elon Musk up to Mars?
Boy, you ended that sentence early. How quickly do I think we can shoot Elon Musk?
Up to Mars.
Up to Mars, Elon Musk.
You had not started laughing before I finished my sentence. The sentence was, how quickly can we shoot Elon Musk up to Mars?
How quick?
To clarify.
Well, God knows he wants to do that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I know there's...
How quickly can we get him off the planet? That's really all I'm concerned about right now.
Well, when it comes to the space race right now, the private space race anyways,
Right.
the three major company heads are Bezos, Musk, and Branson. I know Branson is talking about getting space travel, commercial space travel within his lifetime. Branson's not a young guy, so I think there's a very good chance we're going to be seeing commercial private space travel. I don't know, the next 20, 30 years.
That'd be awesome.
That would be incredible.
Yeah, well, that is currently all the questions I have for you. I think we made some important points, made some important references. We have to take a quick break, but when we come back, we will play an untitled clip review, so stick around.
Audio, man, it's in the air. It's the fluctuations that vibrate our ear holes and make the cochlea sensitive, you can't ignore it, and you try to start measuring it, and it just pulls you in. Well, I used to try to play music on my own, make the sounds from my own hands and instruments, then I started recording. Upon hearing myself in my recordings, I decided I should just record. When you're a young adult who is serious about pursuing media as a career or even a side hustle, a lot of people won't take you seriously. OMN is cool because not only will they take you seriously, they'll push you and they'll give you all the tools to really try to do something special with it and let you be creative about it. And so that's what's been special about OMN to me. I'm Sam Lay, and I'm a student engineer at Orange Media Network.
Welcome back, everybody, and now it's time for an untitled clip review.
Gara's defenses just by dropping a couple of pounds of weight?
All right, so in this segment, we will be taking a look at 2 clips from the show, complete with sound, and then talking about what happens. But before we begin, we already did the intro. I am so confused. Anyways, let's ignore that I'm absolutely scatterbrained right now. And are you ready to get into some clips?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Let's quip about some clips.
Let's clip on some clips. Okay, digging the funky music.
Yeah, Cowboy Bebop has a fantastic soundtrack. Like we had the opening playing while you were introducing the show, and that's probably one of my favorite anime openings of all time.
Yeah.
It is so good.
So good. The animation's beautiful as well.
Oh, it's great, especially for the time. Because if you look at some stuff from back then, a lot of it looks more like Sailor Moon than it does this. And like,
Yeah.
Sailor Moon doesn't look bad. It just doesn't really look good
But it's
either.
not Cowboy Bebop.
And it's so dated.
Space Corgi.
Space Corgi.
The legendary Space Corgi.
All right. For this scene, it's pretty much a pretty standard Cowboy Bebop scene, which is someone has a MacGuffin, and 3 or 4 different groups are trying to get it. Only one of those groups is ever friendly to Bebop or Bebop themselves.
Right.
Yep, we've got Ed here, just having the time of her life
Oh yeah, on her little scooter.
on her little scooter.
I definitely see like what people mean when they describe it as Western meets Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
It's very that.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's got great hair.
Fantastic hair.
Fantastic hair.
I still love
The Space Corgi.
Space Corgi is such a good boy.
Such the best boy. He's doing his space thing.
And watch, and he's got the bag.
And
Good job.
good
Good
job.
boy, Ein.
I would love to have my own Space Corgi.
Oh, who wouldn't love a Space Corgi?
Who would win in a fight though? Goose from Captain Marvel, or
Or Ein the Space Corgi.
Ein the Space Corgi.
Enter your votes now at 555.
Yeah, please call in.
Call in to the number we cannot provide.
Yeah.
And here we have one of my sort of favorite tropes for Cowboy Bebop is a humorous but anticlimactic end to action scenes.
That was incredibly anticlimactic.
Yes.
But the animation is beautiful.
The animation is fun. The timing is really good with a lot of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But what we could really talk about is the Space Corgi.
Yes,
Ein.
let's talk about Ein. I love him so much. He is the goodest boy.
He is the goodest.
He's the goodest space boy I've ever seen.
So would you like to know how Ein came about in the show?
I would love to know.
So Ein is introduced in the 2nd episode, and what happens is Ein is basically a genetically modified space corgi. And so he is hyper intelligent and especially hyper good.
Hyper good.
Good
boy.
And so a character who's the antagonist for the episode steals Ein and then goes to get reconstructive surgery to disguise himself.
As you do.
And so this is all the information that Spike, the main character for the show, has when he receives a bounty on this character.
Okay.
But the character who stole Ein gets Ein stolen from him. And
okay, think of connecting and following the line.
And so the second character to steal Ein goes to pawn him off. And this leads to one of my sort of favorite bits, one of my favorite sort of comedic timings in the entire show, which is the guy's looking in a fish tank, and on the other side is Spike. Spike waves hello. Guy waves back tentatively. And Spike just goes, hey, go up real quick. And as the guy stands up, Spike just pulls a gun on him.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Because he thinks this is the guy who's got, the $500,000 bounty on his head or whatever.
Is he incorrect?
Oh, he's very incorrect.
Perfect.
And so in the meantime, not Spike, Ein escapes, and so Spike has to chase Ein, and so does the second guy the second guy just kind of runs off because he's scared.
Yeah, I
and
would
so
too.
the antagonist is chasing after Spike, and by extension Ein, and so Ein becomes the MacGuffin for the episode.
That's fantastic.
But eventually, Spike gets his hands on Ein, and he and Jet keep Ein.
Because he's the goodest space boy.
Because he's the goodest space boy.
He's the best space boy.
He's just doing his best.
We had talked about briefly for a second whether or not Goose or Ein would win in a fight. Who's your money on?
I mean, Goose can swallow an infinity stone. I'm going to have to go with Goose on this one.
I'm going to have to second you. I love Ein. He's the goodest boy, but he cannot swallow an infinity stone.
Well, we don't know that.
Well, presumably. Shall we roll into the next clip?
Let's absolutely roll into the next
clip.
clip.
Let's take a look.
Don't tell me the party already started.
Now this is from the movie, correct?
Yeah, this is actually from the movie as opposed to just the show.
Okay.
Which you can tell because the animation budget is clearly a lot higher.
Supreme.
It's fantastic.
The animation is an absolute unit.
And what we're going to see here in a little bit is a sort of demonstration of Spike's fighting right there.
Right, with the kicks.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of Bruce Lee because it's based off of Bruce Lee's fighting style, which is commonly abbreviated as TDK. And the literal translation of it is like the way of the intercepted fist or something.
That is the coolest thing that I have heard.
Yeah, it's I don't think it's exactly that, but it's a rough translation.
Yeah, and like you said, the animation is absolutely gorgeous.
So what they did for a scene like this is it's basically pseudo mocapping. They didn't actually use any mocap technology, but what they did was they filmed 2 actors actually doing this fight scene, in live action, and then they animated the actual scene based off of that. So that's why it looks very fluid and it looks very realistic.
Yeah, it does look super realistic, which is almost kind of scary in a way.
It's not quite
It
Uncanny
makes it
Valley.
more intense. Oh, ow.
Ooh, yeah.
That looks like real painful.
So this movie is rated R, if you couldn't tell.
Okay, for all the children out there.
Yeah, this movie
This is not a family-friendly picture. Please watch the show instead.
Yeah. Oh, the show's not that family friendly.
Get a parent or guardian to sign a permission slip like they do in middle school before you watch like a PG-13 movie.
Oh God, I remember that.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh, you have to get the parent to approve this. But
no, that's a scene from the actual movie, and the movie, as you can tell, it looks great.
Yeah.
That is, if for no other reason, watch the movie for the animation alone.
Yeah.
It is top notch, especially for when it came out. It still holds up today really, really well.
Yeah, I think pseudo mocapping was probably one of the best decisions that they could have made for the fight scene as well. I can. Like,
For the record, I'm just calling it pseudo mocapping. That isn't an actual industry term or anything.
No, don't take advice from us. We give off the air of being very professional and knowing what we're talking about, but
But in reality,
it's pseudo professionalism. Pseudo professionalism.
There we go. That's it.
Yeah, but I think the movie is
I do actually.
that one guy from that one thing.
Yeah.
Definitely go watch the movie.
Yeah,
Probably watch the show first.
Oh, definitely watch the show first because you do need some of that context
need
for
some
who
of that
these characters
context.
are.
Well, I think those were some pretty interesting and pretty intense clips.
Oh, yeah.
But we're going to cut to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be playing everyone's favorite game, Drop or Watch. So stick around.
I joined OMN because I have always had an interest in creating things. I've been a DJ here at KBVR FM since my sophomore year, then I became a podcast director, and then finally I got the position of station manager. I've learned a lot of things that I would not have learned in my classes. Things like how to be a proper journalist, interviewing sources and stuff. I've gotten a lot of real-world experience here at KBVR FM that I've been able to use to get internships and jobs in the future, and so learning just a lot about how like the real world of media works has been really helpful. I think Orange Media Network provides opportunities for people to get involved and extend their learning beyond what they're learning in their classes and stuff, and so giving them skills that they can use whether or not they pursue a career in journalism or broadcasting is something that OMN is able to provide to all students from every major, every college on campus. Not everyone at FM wants to be involved in broadcasting in the future, but I've been able to learn a lot of the skills that I need to get a job in the public radio field. I'm Roman Battaglia, and I am the station manager for KBVR FM.
Welcome back, everybody, and now it's time for Drop or Watch. Okay, so for this episode of Drop or Watch, I wanted to keep it within the theme of being in the future. So the show we are going to talk about is called The Promised Neverland. And I'm just going to read you the description really quickly, and then we'll, talk about it for a little bit.
All right.
So, set in the year 2045, Emma is an 11-year-old orphan in Gracefield House, a small orphanage housing her and her 37 siblings. The orphans are basically allowed to do whatever they want, except venture out of the common grounds or the gate that connects the house to the outside world. On a fateful night, an orphan named Connie is sent away to be adopted, but Emma and Norman follow her after noticing that she left her stuffed rabbit toy back at the house. Sneaking out, they find Connie dead and the truth of the existence of the orphanage to be a farm where human children are raised as food for demonic creatures. Worse still, Isabella, their mother, is in allegiance with the demons, ripping away at everything the two ever thought they knew. Determined to break out of Gracefield House, the three children, Norma, Emma, and Ray, partner up to peel away at the facade of the farm and find a way to escape with all their other siblings. So, it's quite a lot. It's quite intense.
There's a lot going on in this show.
So the title of the anime is called The Promised Neverland.
Yeah.
When you hear a title like that, what do you initially think the show would be about?
Well, if you hear something like that, it sounds sort of more adventure than escape.
Yeah.
So like I would picture something sort of like Made in Abyss.
Yeah.
Where it's this very fantasy-based adventure show that has all kinds
whimsical.
Well, I wouldn't say whimsical necessarily so much as there is this tremendous sense of awe.
Yeah.
About your surroundings.
Yeah, I would also imagine that. I mean, the show is not really kid-friendly.
No,
even though
not
it
even
is
remotely.
Very much about children. So when I hear something like The Promised Neverland, my mind immediately goes to like Disney's Peter Pan.
Yes.
And it being more of like an adventure through childhood, or like something a little light. Like keep it light, not like these children are demon kebabs.
Well, yeah. If you're watching the first episode, it starts off. The kids are having fun and they're just running around playing hide and seek. There is one point though where they start talking about the kids who have previously got adopted and how none of them ever write or anything. They always leave around the time they're 12 or something like that. And so right off the bat you sort of get this feeling that something
funky.
ain't right.
Something's funky.
Yeah, and then this this kid, I forget what her name was. Connie.
Connie.
Yes. So Connie gets adopted, and
I'm sure everyone's super excited.
and yeah, and there's this great going away sort of thing, and she says, "No, I don't want to leave you guys," and Isabella, the mother, is like, "No, you have to. Come on."
Like your family's waiting.
Yeah, and it's very sweet.
Boy, I'm sure she is shocked to find out that.
My favorite joke about this show is there's an internet sort of guy who makes anime videos on the internet. His name is Gigic, and he referred to this show as "When Your Wagyu Steak Tries to Escape," which is a really fun encapsulation of the
that's
show.
a really lighthearted way to summarize this show. I mean, I can't imagine this being it takes place in the not so far away future. I mean, 2045. That's not that far away. I mean, I don't see. I mean, how am I trying to say this?
You don't see a demon takeover happening in the next 30 years?
No, I don't see a demon takeover. Do you? I mean, do you see a demon takeover?
Yeah, I mean, in the next 30 years, no.
Perhaps,
35, maybe.
In 2050, perhaps.
Depends if we make it to Mars or not.
Yeah, if we can get Elon Musk off this planet in enough time, I think
the demons will rise.
I think the demons will rise. That's really how you stop the apocalypse.
This is how we stop the apocalypse.
Is you need Elon Musk.
Is we keep Elon Musk on Earth? That's how we stop the apocalypse?
No, you get rid of him.
Okay, we get rid. Okay.
You get rid of Elon Musk. You bring the space corgis.
The space corgis, right?
And then you defeat the demons with your army of space corgis.
That's exactly what we need to do.
Why isn't that a movie?
No one has had the chutzpah to write that.
I think, yeah, I'll have to talk to the playwriting class.
Yeah,
people
well,
that I know.
let's
make it a play.
Just go up to them. All right, everyone. Space corgis and demons.
And then Elon Musk.
And Elon Musk.
Yeah, I don't personally see a demon takeover. Yeah. I just can't imagine, because whenever I think of Neverland, I think of the, Disney, lighthearted, we're off to Neverland kind of thing. I'm not entirely sure why the show is called The Promised Neverland.
So I think part of it is the Promised Neverland is being adopted. It's a Neverland because it doesn't actually exist, but the children are sort of promised that. I think that's the idea behind the title for the show.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Because they are promised this Neverland.
Promised something.
And in reality, they are killed and sold as meat.
Well, what can one do?
I don't know.
Except don't be an orphan. That's what
Yes.
we've learned today. Shoot Elon Musk into space.
Oh,
Get a space corgi.
Get a space corgi.
Don't be an orphan. And
Apologies to our orphans in the audience.
I'm so sorry. So sorry. Well, you know what? At least you aren't.
At least you are not being fed to demons.
Yeah, you got to look at the bright side of some things.
One thing I will just say about this show is I wish we had been able to play some of the opening by Overworld because it is an absolutely incredible song.
Really?
It is fantastic.
Is it nice and melodious? Or
not at all. It is so hype. It's got a lot of saxophone, which is just kind of an Overworld thing.
Everyone loves saxophone.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being our guest. I'm so glad we put all the bad blood behind us.
It is the hatchet has been buried.
The hatchet has been buried. Sam has been kicked out. We're all good to go.
We're all happy.
We're all good to go. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'm really excited to be your host again this season. Please be sure to check out our YouTube page for past episodes, as well as our other produced show, Locals Live. And until next time, I will see you all. Good night.